So I have seen Speak No Evil. Gotta be honest, not a bad film.
Agnes, why don't you and Aunt show us the dance that you've been working on?
I've been married a long time ago. Where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you
Aunt, what is wrong with you? Just feel the rhythm in your feet. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the one.
What is wrong with you? I want to pack up the car and I want to leave right now.
I'm just sad to see you go.
Are you gonna go out there and be completely normal?
I've been pretending it's normal since we got here. Dad?
Remember that time you guys came to stay?
And you flipped out and tried to leave without saying goodbye?
Cash Nation, welcome back to brand new review channel. Today we're talking about Speak No Evil. Now, I'll be honest. I was walking into this expecting a absolute god-awful horror film, right? And the reviews came out and the reactions came out saying, actually, not bad. You know, it's not a horror film, but it's not a bad Blumhouse film. Like, really? Okay. I heard James McAvoy gives a great performance, which we'll talk about, of course. And there were some issues, of course, but overall, I heard it was the best Blumhouse horror film that came out this year. Question is that overhyped or is it legit? We'll begin to that and much more in today's review, starting with the good, which is James freaking McAvoy. This motherfucker here, he was born for this role, okay? For the very beginning of this film until the very end of this film, it's constantly, he's making people comfortable, remarks from constantly. He literally goes from being your best friend to constantly making the other person next to you uncomfortable, you know, basically fighting them on certain things. And he is so daggone creepy, but so charming. I loved it, okay? I mean, this film does not work without him. Let's get that one thing out of the way. It doesn't work without him. So when he comes into this film, he just adds so much layers to this film, of course. And overall, I love how there are certain sequences where a couple is fighting, right? Ben and Louise, and he does something in the film where like I was like, oh my god, this is so A, disturbing, B, creepy, and third of all, what the fudge, right? And overall, as the film carries on more and more, it's just more tension. You're waiting for that ball to drop, and it sure does. And when it does, it's like, oh, satisfaction, okay? Now, Sierra, Patty's wife in the film, aka James McAvoy's wife, right? I loved her in this film because she's sweet, she's soft-spoken, she helps balance out chaotic nature within his character, right? She adds on to him, but it's like you have the guy being a douchebag, and the girl is basically soft, and she's able to be kind and stuff, you know? I enjoyed her character because she does anything he says, anything he does, she goes along with it perfectly well. There are certain things revealed about her character, and it's like, okay, that's interesting. Okay, that's kind of weird, which I won't get into, of course. But Sierra, to me, I enjoyed so much, right? How literally she does these little things, right? Like both Patty and Sierra are both creepy in this film. He's obviously very obnoxious. It's very you see it front and center, but she does the most subtle things, right? To where she will easily correct the child. She will say certain things where it's like, hey, you should do this, hey, you should do that. And even Louise and Ben are like, hey, you need to like back off. She's like, well, I'm not going to, you know? And overall, Ben, Sierra, and Patty were the best parts of me this entire film, okay? Tone of script. This is a film that will make you uncomfortable. It just does, okay? It's not a horror film. This is not a film with, you know, ghosts, demons, possession taking over. It's just every single thing you would not do, this couple does, right? Like, say I go to a family function, right? I show up, I say the absolute wrong things. Every single thing comes out of my mouth. It's like, yo, what the, hey, whoa, chill, bro. And it's like the whole time I'm smiling, I'm making the people comfortable. I'm going out of my way to not show any type of manners nor social etiquette whatsoever, okay? The whole point of this film, but maybe it's very clear, okay, is it's a slow burn. You don't like Patty being a douchebag or Sierra having a little subtle moments, if you will. If you skip all those parts, the film doesn't work. The whole point of this film is to basically slowly have it to where the tension builds up. It's like lava rising, rising, and rising, and rising, if you will, right? And I can easily say that by the end of this film, there's a punch involved. It's like, oh my gosh, we'll talk about it in a second. But to me, this is one of the best thrillers I've seen this year. I can confidently say that right now. That's the best thrillers. Now, has some issues. Now, the ending. The ending to me, I thought was absolutely fantastic, right? Because it's all high octane, constant action happening, but it's like there's slow moments in between that to flesh out certain things to where this couple at the middle of a fight are able to work together to get out of this bad situation that's happening, right? I won't give any details, but there's a certain thing that happens at the end of the film to where it's like I remember I was watching my dad's reaction to a specific scene that happened. It's the very end of the film. And once the scene happened, my dad was jaw dropped. He went from, oh my, like literally no bull crap. My dad was jaw dropped at what happened at the very end of the film, which to be honest was well deserved. I can't talk about it. I can't talk about much. But I will say is this. If you think that you've seen everything this film has offered to you, you haven't. And you will be shocked by what the ending gives to you. Now, Ben to me, I didn't care for. I didn't. Because to me, Ben, he is a rug to walk all over. He is the type of guy that won't stand up, won't say anything, will things happen. Even when Louise and his kid, Agnes, are sitting there like, hey, daddy, say something. Speak up if you will. He's just like, nah, I'm good. I'm not going to say anything. He doesn't want to. He just can't. He's not, in my eyes, a man. He's not, you know? If Patty tells him to basically do something, he'll basically do it in a way. And there are scenes where basically where Louise has to be the one that speaks up, not him. And even at the end of the film, he does a couple of minor things where like, okay, yeah, you did that right. You did this right. But to me, as a man, as a father, not me specifically, I'm not talking about me, but I'm saying like, if I was a father, I would have spoken up ages ago, like, hey, you don't say that to my wife. You need to back off. And he doesn't. He just sits there and he makes the worst decisions. He doesn't do anything right in my eyes. I didn't care for him at all as a character. Now, Agnes, this is a nitpick, if you will. It's probably in the mix section. But to me, Agnes was an okay character who just has this thing where she has to have this doll named Hoppy, if you will, this stuffed bear. And to me, certain scenes take place where her acting could have been a little bit better. To where I didn't really feel like she gave it her all, if you will. The way I could talk about it is this. There's a villain in the film that takes place. It's the big twist in the film. Won't give anything away. And they're in the bathroom, Louise, Ben, and Agnes. And Louise and Ben, they're all reacting to the same exact news and information that's been given to them. And to me, I feel like Agnes didn't deliver as much as the rest of them were. I know she's a child actress. I understand it. But to me, I wish the director had been like, okay, I need to give me more. Give me some more. Give me some more emotion. I need to see you distressed. Like the information you just received, you just found out about, I need you to show the crowd, the audience, how much that would terrify you, such horrify you if this happened to you in your life, right? Like, she's a fine actress. She does a decent job in the film. It's just a nitpick of mine. Certain scenes, she could have been better, such done better, if that makes sense, okay? Now, the conflict between the couple, Ben and Louise, right? This is one of my biggest issues of the film because at the very beginning, you see that Ben looks at Louise and she's on her phone, right? It's revealed that there's an issue, a conflict. We'll get into that. Won't spoil for you by any means. But I will say this. I told Jared specifically that I felt like you could have easily added 10 more minutes to the film, the very beginning of the film, to where the conflict that happened, show it a little bit on screen. Show the scene that takes place to where the character discovers what the issue is, and then we get the reaction, and then we get the trip to France. And that way, the whole rest of the film, instead of it just being told to us, I can see, like, Ben sees this thing, this information that's been delivered, and it's like, oh, I'm not a fan of that. And they go on the trip, they meet Patty and Sierra, they come home, and now the rest of the film, when he's doing more and more, it's like, okay, I already know what's going on, I understand why he's upset for it, it makes sense, versus just, we see him doing things, it's reveal what's going on, but to me, I didn't really care too much. Not enough information was given, unfortunately. And for that reason, I'm just like, I know what's going on. I see that you're in pain, but because of the fact that I can't really fully sympathize with your character or care too much about your character, what's going on, I'm not fully invested, if that makes sense, right? Like, if it was Patty and Sierra, I'm like, dang, I feel bad for Patty, because he's giving such a good performance, and so is Sierra, right? They're a very loving couple. But with Ben and Louise, they try here and there to act loving. They try to have some fun, but you can tell there's a humongous rift and a barrier between them that's blocking them off from being the best, from being a couple, if you will, right? She makes certain jokes about him at his expense to where she thinks it's funny, but he doesn't. It's like there's a joke she makes where it's like, oh, that's will go well with Ben, and it doesn't. So again, the conflict that happens, the plotline between the couple itself and Louise could have been executed a lot better. The movie is kind of predictable, okay? Because if you see the trailers, you can kind of guess what's going to happen from A, B to C, right? It was like, okay, we obviously know that Patty's not right in the head. Sierra's probably doing something as well. Something sketchy is going on behind the scenes. And you're probably going to be able to guess the twist. You may or may not. Who knows? But all I will say is this. It doesn't take away from the ending of the film. Like if you think for a second, okay, if I know the twist of the film, this is a twist, not the ending, am I still going to watch this and enjoy it? Yes. Just because the twist, it's there, but it's not the big boom, if you will, not the big old scene, if you will. There's always a scene every film you watch to where it's like, okay, that was it. Okay, that's when the ball drops. The twist, cool, yeah. I promise you the ending, that's where you get your money's worth. You know what I'm saying? Ant is a little boy in the film that doesn't say anything in the film. He tries his best to say certain things, like show Agnes, if you will, on certain items, write certain stuff down to basically try to talk to her, communicate with her what's going on. And unfortunately, it takes until basically the third act where he's able to finally take her to another area. And basically, she's able to finally see what Ant has been trying to tell her. And to me, Ant had a great performance because you see this whole time, he's basically trying his best to go along with everything, even though he's being picked on by his dad the whole time. His dad does some things to him that no one would like. His dad is a bully, makes fun of him, and of course does something to him that's literally unforgivable. And that's the reason why he cannot speak in evil about his father, if you will. And to me, I enjoy what he gets to do in a specific part of the film, which I won't talk about nor spoil, but let's just say he's able to finally do something to Patty he's wanted to do for so long. But you have to find out in theater what that is. Overall, Speed No Evil is a great thriller. It's not horror, it's a great thriller, if you will, right? I was walking into this film expecting to not care for it, not like it at all. It is the same exact problem to me as Afraid does, to where both films work better as a thriller rather than a horror film, if that makes sense. So I'm going to give Speed No Evil a 7 out of 10. Now, all across everybody, me, Gabby, my dad, and Jaren, all of us say the same thing to you, Cash Nation. You should spend your hard-earned money to watch this in theaters, okay? If you can't, no worries. Watch it on streaming when you can. And for those asking, that I watched the original one that came out 2 years ago, I have not, unfortunately, okay? I know the ending to that. I have not seen it, of course. So please do a favor and comment your thoughts on Speed No Evil. Did you watch this in theaters? And if so, what did you think about it? What was your favorite scene? And how did you feel about Patty / James McAvoy? Is this going to be your top 5 films of the year? Why or why not? And as always, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe for more daily trailer reactions. We can add the reactions and reviews. And remember, you're awesome.